I'm attorney Mark Nicholson from the law office of Mark Nicholson. I'm here today to talk about the Delphi Defense. Now, I'm not really covering the Delphi case. There's a lot of other people that are covering that, but I do want to mention just briefly an interesting fact that affects really all attorneys throughout the state of Indiana. And basically, this case of the Delphi murders, where two little girls were murdered in 2017 in Delphi, Indiana. There was a massive manhunt trying to find out who did it, and finally they said the evidence led to a man named Richard Allen. The original judge said that this was too much for his staff and him, that he couldn't handle the case. So the Indiana Supreme Court appointed another judge to handle the case, and then the defense attorneys that were court appointed to represent Mr. Allen filed these motions talking about this murder may have happened by this call and these other briefs that they filed, a Frank's memo, all this kind of things that I won't really go into detail about. But at the end of the day, there was some leak of some evidence that they really didn't have anything to do with. The judge removed them from the case. That is really the crux of this particular YouTube video. The judge just removing them from the case. And the reason why this was important, because they didn't do anything really that warranted the removal. It just appeared that the judge was just upset, just didn't like their defense, didn't like their filings. And because of that, she claimed that they were ineffective, or, they were engaging in gross negligence. But there was really no allegation other than words saying that. There was nothing that they really did that showed some kind of gross negligence. And listen, attorneys are human. And humans make mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes cause this case to get overturned. And sometimes the Court of Appeals upholds those verdicts. Attorneys are not perfect. People are not perfect. So for a judge to get in and say that, they thought this attorney was engaging in this kind of behavior to remove from the case was somewhat extraordinary. And the reason why it's so important is because a client has a constitutional right, especially in criminal cases, of attorney of his own choosing. He has the right to pick his own attorney, hire his own attorney. As long as that attorney is licensed in the state of Indiana and there's not some kind of conflict of interest, that attorney can represent the client. Whether the judge thinks this is a good attorney for this person or a bad attorney for this person. So that was really extraordinary, and it caused concern, because we as defense attorneys don't want to go into a courtroom and the judge just doesn't like us. So it says, hey, I don't like this guy, so you're not going to be his attorney. He's going to have to hire somebody else. Especially the United States, supposed to be a free country. The guy can hire who he wants to. He can hire somebody he thinks is good, somebody thinks is bad. He can hire a friend as long as they're attorney. So oral arguments at the Indiana Supreme Court were yesterday. And really, in what I think is a stunning speed, just hours after they finished oral argument, the Indiana Supreme Court issued an order saying that those original attorneys that were removed from the case by the trial judge were reinstated as court-appointed attorneys. And that's why I'm wearing this shirt. Public defenders. The Indiana Supreme Court reinstated the attorneys as public defenders, as court-appointed attorneys, meaning that they will be able to represent him and get paid for doing it, because the accused, Richard Allen, is incarcerated. Basically, he is not working, being locked up. He doesn't have any money to hire an attorney. So the court has allowed him, a public defender, a court-appointed attorney, to represent him and get paid by the court. So, important decision that the judges in Indiana, and hopefully throughout the United States, have to have something more to remove an attorney from a case than basically, I don't think you're any good, or I think you're committing gross negligence, or I think that you are a bad attorney and I just don't like your attitude. They're going to need something more. Now, the full decision hasn't been issued yet. That's coming out later, but they wanted to hurry up and issue their opinion, so that way the trial court, can get on with moving the case. Now, there are other issues that were brought up about removing the judge and having a trial within 70 days. I'm not really going to get into the main part. The main thing that I think most, especially criminal defense attorneys, were concerned about was the ability of a judge to be able to remove you from a case basically without cause. And it doesn't appear through this order that that is allowed. And that is a good day for private attorneys, public defenders, and anyone that is concerned with the United States Constitution, the fairness of the legal system. That is your Nicholson Nugget of the day. Be sure to like and subscribe.